Hello folks, welcome back. Haven't done a video in a while, so we are going to do an inside my head against Positional game, who lives up to his name and plays e4, e5. That doesn't promise too much bloodshed in the first two moves, or rather in the first 20. And he's coming at me with the Philidor, which is, oh my god, okay. This is atrocious. Don't play just like this, folks. We are following the game of Morphy versus the two dudes who lost in a spectacular manner. Count, Izoard and Braunschweig, whatever. I always forget their names. And this is why you need to know Die Classics, guys, because that's exactly how the game went. Queen e7, knight c3, c6, bishop g5 was the course of that game. But black is already in severe trouble because of by playing queen b3 I created a double attack on these two pawns, and they can't be defended both. An ultimate example of early pins are useless, and an ultimate example of knights before bishops. So he couldn't take back here because of queen takes, king takes, and knight takes. Pawn is free, so he had to insert the knight take, and now he's already looking sad. I don't want to look up the Morphy game now because I don't want to unnecessarily get accused of cheating. But I was curious. I always forget the two dudes who they played against in the Opera of Le Paris in Paris. There is Queen d4. Holy cow. Alright, so I don't know how guys like this can have 2200. It really does puzzle me. So all I'm doing now is just develop my dudes as quickly as possible. If knight takes, then bishop e3 followed by rook d1 is going to finish him off. And now the idea is that let me think about the most aggro way of doing this. Okay, so I'm just developing, I'm not thinking, which is not a good idea, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. Queen e4, rook d1 check. I technically could castle here, but now I'm a little bit reluctant to do that. Because on occasions I want to pinch this pawn, and then if the rook comes to b8, that's a bit ugly. So I'm just going to go check, knight d7 castles, and lean back and relax. The game is mine. Or as David Guetta would say, the world is mine. Because I'm coming at him with a pin here, another developing move with a tempo there, and he has got no hopes of getting these dudes into the game in any shape or form that would be remotely acceptable. a5, golly gosh. Okay, expecting a4 because you normally expect consistency from your opponents. Against which my intended move would have been this. Now, am I not winning by force if I take this followed by bishop e6 and he can't guard that? That's one way to win it. I can also take here, in which case the rook is very difficult to guard because rook b8 is not possible due to queen takes because of the pin. So if I take here with the queen, he will play king e7, and then he's still a little bit alive, so I will take bishop f6, but he doesn't allow me to do that. And then after bishop e6, the knight can't be guarded. Alright, let's see if he wants a rematch. Okay. So now we are playing a reverse Sicilian by him playing c4. And with the double fianchetto, it's a very timid setup. And mine is going to be very aggressive. I'm basically playing a dragon, or we are playing a dragon with reverse colors, in which case I'm supposed to attack him very rapidly on this side of the board by means of playing f6, which is to support g5, h5, h4. So that's exactly what's happening now. And because of he played b3 and then a3 and then b4, he's already quite a few tempos behind, despite of the fact that we are playing a reverse opening, so technically he's a tempo ahead compared to normal scenarios. But because of he wasted so much time, plus he developed the bishop here, which is a complete lemon. Yeah, it's game. Actually, this is a tactical blunder, which means that the game is over now, because after g4 the knight has to move, and after knight d4 the pawn drops. And with that the game too, so that's resignation number 2 here. And in fact he can't even go to d2 because knight takes b3, and if and then I'm forking the king and a queen, so queen b1 is a forced move, and then after knight b3 check king c2, it's looking horrendous. So that's gonna be resigns again, and that is again me going like, come on guys, how can it be 2200? Like, I have got students below 2200 who, if played like this, I would go absolute nuts. King d2. Alright, let me develop my gear. I'm guessing I must have missed a couple of forced wins, but whatever. As long as I'm playing the type of chess that my coach taught me to do. Get your pieces out and be happy. I'm alright. Actually, not sure whether I should take like this, but probably then the knight would find a good refuge there, which I don't want. So this swap is coming, the pawn is hanging very awkwardly there, and if e3 then d3 is going to be weak, and my bishop drops back to b6. That shields the king really well on this file too. So I expect e3. No, knight f5, that's a bit cheap. Wants to give me a check there and yeah, win the game for nothing, but that's not gonna happen, sorry buddy. Yeah, I don't know, I may have stuffed this up a little bit here. Here. Maybe there were faster ways to win it here, I don't know. Knight d4 look natural, maybe bishop h6 check here, and then if e3 then just continue with f5, I suppose, with the intention of f4, maybe. But I'm quite happy. Okay, so now if I come here, then f2 is going to be rather tough to hold. If check here, then king e2, and I'm chasing the king to the direction where it wants to go. So that's not really what I want. This was a good move, by the way. Putting stuff on white when my bishop is on the dark square is, in general, a sound positional concept. So he lives up to his name, at least. Alright, I shouldn't be greedy, but I will just pinch everything now on my way. The idea is that I'm hitting both of these and they can't be guarded. Rook c1, I think, is the best he can possibly have from this position, whereupon I take here. And I'm 2 pawns to the good. His king is insecure. GG. Positional game. And by the way, this is a good example. If this guy thinks he's a positional player just because he's playing openings that are supposedly positional, then yeah, you are very much in the wrong. So just because you put 2 bishops fianchettoed, it doesn't mean you're playing positional chess. In this case, it means you're playing rubbish. Now, whether that rubbish has a positional or a tactical nature, that doesn't really matter. So essentially, and that is why I am to some extent against classifying players as positional or tactical, especially on lower levels, because normally you either play good chess or you are not. And sometimes that good chess can turn out to be positional, and sometimes that good chess can turn out to be tactical. But you can't decide that, okay, today I'm going to play positionally, because if your opponent plays a variation or lands you in a position where it's ridiculously tactical, then you can't just pretend that it's not on the board, and you can't just cruise on trying to put your pieces on the optimal squares when actually what the position requires from you is sharp and direct calculation that can lead to a forced win. And that is why I dislike these terminologies once again, especially on the lower levels, because you just play chess. And if you play good chess, as opposed to positional or tactical or whatever, then you're going to win games. If you play rubbish chess, then it doesn't matter whether it was rubbish based on positional overlooking or blunders or tactical ones, it's still rubbish. By the way, I'm bringing the rook across and massaging this soft spot. His task is difficult because he needs to guard that, he needs to guard that, and he needs to cover this as well. And whilst the knight on f5 is optically a very good piece, the fact of the matter is that it's not attacking anything in my army that would be remotely weak. But that said, to convert this endgame will take me some time because, yeah, it's not an easy fix yet. Predominantly because my rooks can't penetrate yet. Let's hope he plays here. And then after c6 his rooks will look very funny. Yeah, I knew that he would blunder this, that c6 actually guards this guy here. So now after rook b4, maybe b5 followed by a5. That looks like a good plan. And he can't play a4 because then a5 traps the rook. So let's do this. So now I'm forcing this rook back, and then a5, forcing the other rook back, and then I will just play king a7, stepping out of that pin. If a5 right away, then he could have run away with that. So I think I'm playing optimal moves here. Oh, by the way, I have got another surprise for you guys after the tennis video. But that will be happening a little bit later. I received something funny with the post today that I wanted to share with you, but that will be probably for our, what should it be, 750th subscribers. Alright, the reason why I played this move is because I like to fix my opponent's pawns on the color where my bishop is traveling. So now after I drop the bishop back here, I will create a double attack on these two. He's dreaming about attacking my c-pawn, and this is where the other plan comes into place. I want to play c5, b4, and then push this in. And I'm not giving any chances of counterplay to my opponent. This is very, very, very important, that what I'm doing predominantly is to basically I'm suffocating the guy and he just can't do anything. Okay, so I'm playing this move with the intention of preparing for b4. So my next two moves are going to be rook here to cover the other rook, and then b4. I can't play b4 just yet because after takes takes I would lose a rook. Please see how I built up in the next 10 moves about breaking through on the queen side, starting with b5, b5, a5. All of these moves serve one and one purpose only, and that is to use my pawn majority on the queen side to eventually break through and create a pass pawn. And in the meantime, all he did was creating one move cheapies, not because he's a bad player, but because that was all he could do. That's what I allowed him to do, and no more. And now this is when we are basically harvesting the gains. Now two connected pass pawns with a rook swap, pretty much unavoidable. This is game. So it's important that when you land yourself in a position like this one was, I think it's quite instructional, and to be honest, many of my students misplay endgames like this horrendously, because now they are in a okay, I must win right now because I'm winning mode. Whereas I just went like, all right, well, I did tell you actually earlier that this now is going to be a little bit long labor, but not for 1 second did he have a glimmer of hope of getting out anything from this position. And look how consistently I'm making progress while he's not doing anything visible, simply because I didn't allow him to do anything. So now this is already queen. Yeah, it's all over. This endgame actually turned out to be very, very instructive in my opinion. And although I probably didn't explain best what I was doing, if you think that your endgame play is not good enough, I highly recommend you to play through this just to see how this whole thing played out, because I think that this was pretty good. And since you didn't offer me a rematch, we'll give it a miss. I just very quickly want to show you how the other game would have ended if he had not resigned. Wow, I didn't even notice that I have got a poo ton of trophies up there. Well done me. Okay, so basically in the last position I was gonna take on f6, and whatever takes back doesn't matter. After bishop e6 the knight drops and the game drops with that too. An ultimate example of king stuck in the middle scenario. So these were the two games, guys. I think that they had actually some educational value, and I would like to hear your comments and thoughts and all that jazz down below. Other than that, have fun, have a good day, and I hope to see you back soon. Bye.